Welcome to Creative Brews. I'm Kristen, and this is your weekly dose of creativity, where photography, design, and life come together. So, grab your favorite drink, and let's talk about what's brewing. Hello! How's everybody doing? I know this is Monday, that's my upload day, basically. So I was about to say, how's everybody's week? But, which I guess I could have still asked that because it's pretty viable because, it just depends on when you're listening or watching. But, yeah, hope everybody is having a great week. And a great August. Yeah, I don't know. It's been awesome. I have no complaints. And there's a saying, but I can't remember it at the moment. But something about even if I did complain about it or whatever, it wouldn't change anything, right? So, anyways, I have coffee. It's almost 12. My son is down for his nap, so let's jump right into it. All right. So today's episode, we are going to just touch on something that has, I guess, kind of intrigued me here and there. Again, a lot of these subjects are just things that I have thought about or maybe have spoke to some friends about or whatever the case is. It basically just interests me, so again, we're just going to touch on this. I don't plan on really diving deep into it or really digging deep into the roots. I mean, maybe in the future I might, but right now, I just like to talk about it, if that makes any sense. So today we're going to talk about zodiac signs. And the question of, do you get real deep into zodiac signs or, do you strongly believe in zodiac signs or do you just kind of skim over it? You're like, whatever. Or I know a lot of people are just kind of skeptical. And I think it's still something that people don't really know that much about. I personally don't know much about zodiac signs at all. I haven't really, like I said, I haven't really dived, really deep into that or dove deep into zodiac signs and everything like that because I know some people get very carried away. They do their birth chart and and all that stuff. I just kind of look at it as something pretty interesting. I don't really necessarily take it like the Bible, like this is this person, and all that. What I do like to do is I just like to look at, like your zodiac sign, and I just like to see what the traits and stuff like that are. Just because I have noticed, and I have put it to the test without people knowing, which I know sounds kind of funny, but like family members and stuff like that, I think is what I started with first. Like, okay, well, let's look up, my sister's zodiac sign or whatever it is, and let's just kind of compare. And, some of it was true, some of it wasn't. Like I said, I don't take it like you're going to read someone's zodiac sign and you're like, oh my God, I intimately know this person, because you don't. Just because you read something online about someone's zodiac sign or birth chart, it just, maybe it opens the door to that person, but you don't really know that person because, you just don't know them, right? So some things might be, right or on par. Other things might be wrong or, well, that was kind of half right, So basically, that's basically it. Like, what I've found to be pretty close or pretty correct, if that's how you want to look at it, is basically it's like the people's whoever you're looking at, like if it's your friend or family or just a random person. I've noticed that what is right or what's close are like the quirks and personality traits. Those are pretty on par is the word that I'm going to use. I'm not going to use correct or wrong because, like I said, zodiac signs, I mean, again, I haven't dove deep into this subject. I've only looked here and there because it was fun or, well, yeah, sure, let's see the traits of even me. Like, I really started with myself, and then I looked up some family members and some friends. Like, I didn't go crazy with it, but it is pretty on par. Okay, so I thought where we'd start at first is by going over my zodiac sign, kind of reading what it claims and all of that. So before I do that, I would really like to know out there, can you guess what my zodiac sign is? I will let you try to guess that, and while I take a sip of coffee, and let's just see. I think it's kind of like a little fun, little thing. Words are hard, you know that. Uh, I get going on these episodes, and while multitasking, words become pretty hard. And when I go to put these episodes together, I'm like, man, that is. Anyways, I just thought it'd be something fun, like a little test, just to see if people get it right, what people think I am, what kind of energy I give off, stuff like that. So, yeah, you go ahead and put in the comments below what zodiac sign you think I am while I take a sip of coffee. That's good. Oh, yeah. Okay, so if you haven't guessed yet, go ahead and put your guess in the comments below. I'm really interested to see. So let's go down here real quick because I looked it up. Because I know a little bit about my zodiac sign, but like I said, I just kind of skim over it. So, okay. So, I am an Aquarius, and basically, my birthday is January 20th. I land on the cusp, is what I say, of Capricorn and Aquarius. So, I like to say I'm a Cap Aquarius. I don't know if it's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just scratching the surface with this episode. This is kind of like a fun, lighthearted, little episode here. So it could be true, but I also know that I have spoke with quite a few different people, like where I used to work and stuff like that, and just various different people. And they're like, well, it really just depends on what time you were born, the day, the time. I don't know, it was like the day, the time, and the weather. I'm just kidding about the weather part, but you might as well throw the weather in there, right? Anyways, so Aquarius is from January 20th to February 18th. We are the visionary of the zodiac sign. I do know that Aquarius are very scarce in the zodiac world. There's not a lot of Aquariuses out in the world. It's something that I think while I was looking up a while back ago, I found. And I thought that that was kind of interesting just because I do kind of find it true because I think I can count on one hand how many Aquariuses I've actually met and came across. You okay? My son has woke up from his nap, yes, and he's in his walker. So anyways, we are the visionaries. So I'm going to read you what it says. It says, you, my friend, are ruled by Uranus, the planet of innovation, disruption, and originality. Aquarians are the creative rebels, the thinkers, and the ones who ask, but what if we did it differently? Oh my God. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, especially like this era of my life with mom life and stuff like that, with being a new mom. I literally just talked about what if we did it differently with my fiance yesterday on our walk. We sometimes do walks, or I try to personally do some kind of movement. I've been trying to do it daily, but that's kind of a lot. At least, 3 times a week, something like that. Do something active with your body, So that's pretty accurate. Core traits are innovative and original. You don't just think outside the box, you redesign the whole thing. Independent, you value your freedom and don't do well with micromanagement or rigid systems. That is very true. Like, for me personally, number one, I'm always redesigning myself. It could be better. It could be better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always thinking up of new ways to not only redesign myself, but my life. Let's switch things up a bit. Let's lean into the change. Let's own that and do it, right? Not just talk about it. Talking about it is the easy part. The doing is what's really hard, right? So, I'm very independent. Honestly, it's almost like sometimes I kind of have to remind myself to reel myself back, especially with being a mom. I've been so independent and reliant on myself through my life that, that's just it. Like, mom life and being a new mom is really breaking me down as far as going slow and, allowing others to do stuff and stuff like that. Now, obviously, with all that being said, there are specific things that I want to do myself, and I make that pretty well known, like me telling you, I want to do XYZ, If I want you to do something, I will definitely ask you to do something, that sort of thing. So, and I don't do well with micromanagement. Nope. If you're a manager over me, and if you think that you're going to force me to do something, or that you're going to hold my hand when I've literally, told you, I don't need help, I will come to you, that sort of thing. I've had micromanagers before in the past, and it didn't go well. Like, we butt heads and all that stuff. And, I would say I'm pretty easygoing, but when I disagree with someone, sometimes I can be very stubborn, so, and I know that within myself, but it's because I'm trying to make a point, and I'm trying to get you to see that point, not just talk about it and then go to something else. You know what I mean? Because if you do that, like if you just talk about something and you go to something else, then it wasn't really that important. You know what I mean? So, yeah, humanitarian vibes. Big picture thinker, often passionate about helping others, building communities, are pushing society forward. That's very true. Emotionally detached but not cold, because Aquariuses, I have read that everybody, like everything that I have read, it's like Aquariuses come across as detached. With that being said, it's not cold detachment. You know what I mean? So Aquarians process feelings through logic first, which is true. You're deeply caring, but you also always express it in the obvious ways. Creative and future oriented, always looking ahead, dreaming of new ways to do things, sometimes labeled as quirky, but that's your superpower. Aquarian creators often thrive in creative entrepreneurship, which I think is funny because I just started early this year my business, which is basically an entrepreneur, type of business. And it is creative. BB. I'm sorry if this whole time I've been talking, you can hear him in the background. BB. So we'll move forward. Mix art with impact, design with a message, aesthetic with meaning. Again, everything it's saying so far is very true. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, since I'm doing my own zodiac sign, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And I'm not reading a horoscope, by the way. I don't really read or look up horoscopes all that often. Sometimes I will. I'm more so talking about, like, the personality traits, and basically everything that I'm reading here is what I'm talking about. Love experimenting with platforms, tech, or others, or styles no one else is trying, definitely. Some Aquarian shadows, just to balance it out. So I guess this is like the bad things, I guess you could say. Can be a little aloof or overly rational. Might struggle with being misunderstood or too different, can resist emotional vulnerability even with people they love. And then it says, but those quirks, they're part of what makes Aquarians magnetic and fascinating. And then it gives some celebrities and stuff like that. So, yeah, basically, I very much, even though I say I'm a Cap Aquarius to be funny, and I do say I'm on the cusp, I'm just, honestly, I'm just being funny with that. I don't actually, but I do feel like some people who are on the cusp do kind of have traits of, their main zodiac sign and then whatever their cusp zodiac sign would be. So, that's basically about it. I didn't really want to go into too much with this episode. I'm not trying to dive deep into zodiac signs. I'm just kind of, just like to see what your opinion is. And maybe you can leave some stuff in the comments below. But yeah, basically, we kind of touched on where astrology meets identity, the creative connection, and belief versus a vibe check, sorta. So, briefly, it says what zodiac signs actually are. So yeah, the sun, this is what I was talking about. Like, not only your birth chart, but your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign. I personally don't know what mine are, so maybe I'll make another episode to briefly touch on this. I'm probably not going to make many zodiac sign episodes, to be honest, just because, like I said, I don't really know much about zodiac signs other than just like looking up traits, personality traits, and quirks and things like that. I know a lot of times people use their signs as a tool for understanding not only personality, energy, but relationships, so on. You know, the list keeps going. Yeah, I've already mentioned birth charts. I'm kind of just going over everything here. So, some creative connection. I definitely feel like for some people, their zodiac sign can help influence, or really not help influence, but influence their style, their personal style, how they act, and stuff like that. Like, I know there's people out there that truly believe in the zodiac sign and stuff like that, which I can see why, because when you do your birth chart and you go that deep into zodiac signs and your zodiac sign personally, because the idea of, I do know this, the idea of the birth chart is that it goes off, based off the time you were born, I think the day, but that also tells basically like where the stars were aligned, and all of that. Like, it really does dive deep into you as a person. So maybe I'll find either, like, if you do birth charts, let me know what you use. I know I met someone in like a few years ago, and she used this website, and I think I tried to use it, but I didn't really, like, I read it, but I didn't really know what a lot of it meant. I think it was kind of over my head a little bit. I think it kind of made it difficult to understand, if that makes any sense. So, what I mean by people kind of let their zodiac sign influence who they are and how they act and sometimes how they dress is like fire signs, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius, sometimes can be bold energy, big ideas, you know, stuff like that. Earth signs, grounded, aesthetic focused. Air signs, which is me, thinkers, talkers, which is fitting for the podcast, right? Water signs are emotional depth. So belief versus vibe check. So I do have a question. Do you have, no, what is the deal with me with writing questions that don't really make sense? Again, this is, you know, me late at night or early in the morning, like, oh, I gotta write this down. Okay, yeah, I put in, do you have to believe? No. Do you believe in astrology for meaning, or like, is it meaningful, or like, what is it? I guess what I was trying to say is, what does it mean to you? Yeah, I touched on that. Okay, well, basically, I think I've touched on everything. Yep, so, or, you know what? Forget the other question. I might just try to edit that out. But I'll leave with this question. Do you believe in Zodiac, or do you just have fun with it? Like me, I just have fun with it. And let me know if you've done your birth chart. And also, more than anything, let me know what your zodiac sign is. I'd like to know. But I believe that is basically everything that I wanted to talk about. Again, I just wanted this to kind of be brief, to touch on this subject, just to have fun, nothing too crazy or anything like that. But I hope you all are having a great week. And if not, I hope your week ends in a great way. But yeah, I will talk to you all in my next episode. Bye.